All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, according to experts, one of the most common causes of infidelity is a sense of emotional disconnection from your partner. As per research from the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, 35% of women and 45% of men have had emotional affairs outside their primary relationship. Now, referencing Katie Meyer's publication, as harmful as infidelity is to relationship, it's no secret that people are unfaithful sometimes. No one wants to be cheated on, but there may come a time in your life when it happens to you. If it does or already has, it might help to understand what could have been going on in your partner's head when they cheated. So one thing most cheating partners do before or after committing adultery is attempt to justify their actions. Adulterers know what they're doing is wrong, but they manage to convince themselves that it's okay, or for a number of reasons, right? Some may say it's just going to happen once, while others could think it's with a stranger, so it doesn't mean anything. So cheating or cheaters, excellent negotiators, and they are excellent negotiators and will tell themselves just about anything to lessen the guilt of betraying their spouse. Now, but today, we're not really discussing perpetrators of this act, like the person that is cheating. We're asking, why does the other party, right? Why do they stay in those unfaithful relationships? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at WaysShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WaysShow. All right, ladies.
Should I start?
Wait.
I know you've been itching, right?
Come to us. Okay, so I believe that for every time there's a situation that goes on with anything, I think one of the major reasons we've not had a breakthrough with some of the challenges we face today as a country is because we do not really properly diagnose the why.
Absolutely.
I was on social media last night and I watched, you remember there was a story that broke of a man suspecting his wife of cheating and strangled her and she died. He then drank this poison called sniper.
Okay.
So I just saw it last night just before I went to bed, or was it this morning, that he had passed on, he had died. That was a case of suspicion of cheating. Infidelity, and the man could not just handle it. So what he did was strangled his wife to death, and also because he had the intention
of killing himself
as well. So sadly, he passed on today.
Okay.
Right? So I'm just wondering in my head, if what's it called, infidelity can whip up so much emotion from anyone, whip up so much intense emotion from anyone, that you're perpetually in a state of anger, bitterness, resentment, and all of that.
Woe is me.
Yeah, so why do you still, after repeated infidelity or whatever, why do you still stay there? And this is not unique to a two-face. I mean, we have a list.
We have a list.
So maybe Laide should help us
of the noisemakers.
Help us with the list, because
we have a list of the noisemakers.
Is it just about the men or both ways?
We're talking relationships. We're talking relationships.
I'm a cheater too myself. But you see, the thing is, so it's not so much about whether it's the man that is cheating or it's the woman that is cheating. It's the fact that if any party cheats,
why are you so distraught about it?
Why do you stay?
Those that stay, why do you stay?
Why do you stay?
The ones I think we wanted to focus on are the ones that stay with serial cheats or cheaters. The ones that seem not to have, that's what it seems like, not to have enough of a value system of themselves, put themselves on a pedestal of, I can't be dealt with this way, over and over and over again. It's a case of public embarrassment. We mentioned Neo that did renewal of vows just in April with his wife. Grand wedding. This is a man that used to be married to someone, had 2 children by the lady, told her to please tie her tubes, then ended up having baby by somebody else and started another relationship, had 3 children. They had issues about cheating. They renewed their vows just this year, only for the lady to wake us up in the morning about this same 2 days ago. I think it was the day for them to declare who is cheating and who's not cheating, and say, look, I've had enough of Neo. I'm not going on with this marriage because this guy has just been so disrespectful over and over and over. The renewal was in April because allegedly he's fathered another child. Him and Two-Face will probably have the children arriving at the same time. Davido, our dear young man, I will take like 2, you will take like 3 of them. Davido, our dear young man, gave Chioma assurance. Meanwhile, he'd had 2 girls.
But did Chioma stay though? She didn't.
No, she didn't stay. But I'm just trying to tell you something about how women even put themselves in positions that seems to make other people think, what's the big deal? Other people are doing it. Baby mama season seems to be really booming. So he had 2 girls by 2 different baby mamas, not married to any one of them. Had a son by Chioma. By Nigerian standards or the culture or how we seem to extol people that have the male child, you would think that would be his last bus stop, Abi. Only for him to give assurance, prolonged assurance, and then the next thing we see, as of Sunday last week, he took a baby to church, and they told us there is a baby that he had by a makeup artist based in London, another baby boy. The girls that allow this baby mama status to just flow, it's different when you have a relationship, you happen to conceive, and then you keep the child, but there were no promises of a solidification of your relationship. But when you openly go and sign up for baby mama status.
How do you think? So now, this is the thing.
Yeah.
I'll come to you, Norma. Someone called me this evening and was ranting. Oh, rubbish. Why would Two-Face do this and all of that? So I asked her a simple question. That is, in fact, it is us women that the ones that we are the ones,
causing
this
enabling
we are enabling it. We are doing this, we are doing that. And I asked her a simple question. I said, what makes you first of all think that the conversation, because what you just said now that what's it called, the sign up for it.
Yes.
What makes you think that in the heat of the love, the passion, that somebody is not making a promise to that person? And what makes you feel that a woman is not thinking, maybe my own might just be different? We've had men, trust me, men that have multiple, and they know that they have multiple partners. How they successfully are able to tell another person to come into that picture is what we need to know. What is going, like, what conversations do they have? Why do you think that in your case it will be different? Because that is what I feel these women bank on to now continue to produce babies. That's one angle. The second one, most women do not like to have babies, children for more than one man. Go and check.
I know that.
In terms of
even
statistics. So they would rather stay there and just gather have all the children with, by one person, and then if at all they decide to move, but sometimes they decide to also stay, right? So that might be a factor. But let me hear your thoughts, Norma, on the conversation. Why do you think anyone would stay in an unfaithful marriage?
I think there are several reasons, right, why people stay in marriages or relationships where infidelity has happened and has even become a norm.
That's the thing,
right? So one of the over time, I mean, talking with couples and counseling people, I've found out that a lot of people, several points come to mind. One of the things is validation. We're a very cultural society in Nigeria, so we know that even when you're single, a lot of people don't pay attention. A lot of people don't regard you as somebody who is responsible because you don't have a last name of a man attached to you as a person. True. And before people can even accord some level of respect to you, the next thing is that, are you married? Or the questions start coming.
After you finish marriage, you have a child.
In Nigeria, we find that a lot of people would rather answer people's names even though they're in bad relationships, because it's a form of validation, and that's their own way. At least I'm answering his name.
I'm somebody's own.
So in their mind, they have created this bubble, which helps them to attain some level of stability, that I'm the one answering the name. That's one. Another instance is shame. A lot of people cannot deal with the shame of walking out of a relationship that's not working. So they would rather stay because what would people, then again, our cultural society has a way of casting several stones at somebody who how can you, no matter how bad it is in the relationship, at least it's not killing you, right? Just manage. And because a lot of our we had parents, a lot of people had parents who stayed in marriages that were not working, and it's a programming again. It's the way that they have come to see. So whatever happens, just bear it. So walking out of a relationship like that would bring shame to the person, and nobody wants to attach themselves to somebody who, even if you are successful in other aspects of your life,
you feel that
stigma will remain with you. If you are so good in other areas, why couldn't you keep your home?
Why didn't the marriage work?
Absolutely. And then there's denial. A lot of people have also created that bubble where they live in this happily ever after experience, and even though they know what reality is, they can't detach reality from
the fantasy
that they have created. So they would walk in that denial, convince themselves. And I don't know, it's the psychologists and the sociologists that will probably explain it better. But they have programmed themselves and blocked off everything that reminds them of that pain. So they dissociate themselves from it and continue to build this world where everything is all good and dandy. Well, some survive, some eventually, some survive in the grave.
The bubble bursts.
Some people, the bubble bursts and they come to that realization. And it's very unfortunate that people take advantage of people in this light, because they say the first time is probably a mistake. By the second and the third time, it has become an intention. It is who you have become. And my problem with people who are, whether both genders, whether you're male or female, people who cheat on their spouses or their partners, and it has become a serial experience, is the fact that they live in denial. They don't get help. They don't want to believe that they have a problem. A number of people have been programmed. From growing up, it was normal. A lot of conversations that I have with people who are either breaking up their marriages or they're having issues, by the time you ask several questions, you find out that one person was exposed to the ideology that it was okay to treat women anyhow. They didn't know that it had become part of them until they found themselves as adults and they started socializing. And they found out that before you know it, I can't be okay with just having one woman around. I need to have several different relationships, maybe individual or collective, depending on what you're programmed with. And then that's the norm for them. And then somebody who is coming from a relationship where take for example, one man, one woman, or both partners are together. They now come together and want to build a relationship, and then this division begins to take place. So what's the question today? Infidelity. Why do people stay? People stay for different reasons. A lot of people don't have the strength to walk away.
I like what you said, because I always say to people, I think the biggest mistake you ever make, and this is for whoever that is watching, that you probably are in a relationship or maybe you're about to go into maybe a committed relationship. The truth is, these things do not hide. The true
They're always pointers.
Yes, they are always pointers. They're always red flags. The true color to any person that you're going into a relationship with is always there. Are you choosing to be blind, not to see it, or you're choosing to ignore it? Because you see, I've learned, that whatever you ignore or you choose,
whatever you allow,
so you might ignore it, you might allow it, you might accommodate it, you might hug it, whatever it is. When you then go into a marriage relationship with that behavior that you have accepted
Over time.
you know
Yeah.
what it does, and this is the mistake a lot of us make. We think that with time
It will change.
it diminishes.
It magnifies.
No, with time it diminishes.
It magnifies.
But the other way is what happens. Because the other party reads this at, oh, you're accommodating, you're tolerant. You know, see the way they talk, say, you are rare, you are this, your kind is special. You know? So what it eventually...
I not try it with my daughter.
What it eventually does, when you're now in a marriage relationship with that behavior, that person, it magnifies over time. It blows out of proportion. So it's not something that diminishes. Instead, it continues to grow.
It's been allowed
bigger,
over time.
bigger and bigger.
So it's been
you
enabled.
must be the one to tell yourself at some point that,
Enough is
hey,
enough.
I am done. You know what? We'll take a break. When we come back from that break, Lydia, I'll take your comments. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing infidelity. We're asking, why would anyone stay in an unfaithful marriage, right? Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WadeShow. All right, Lydia, you want to say something?
I first am very terrified by the continuous unprotected sex that these people seem to be having.
Thank you for bringing that out.
They have it and other women come in and do it. We keep talking about marriage, but you know, when we were discussing it earlier on, we said let's try to make it about relationships, because some of the baby mamas that make this marriage funny are not married to the man, and some had more than one child by the man, even though they never married him and they knew there was someone else in the picture. At times women see it as in, I'm winning. If I hang in there, he would eventually marry me. I'm the winner.
So he chases everybody. He
Chases everybody.
Yeah.
It's relay race. It's a case of whoever breaks the
Even though they
record.
say that he came, does he not still come back home to you?
To you. You should be grateful for the fact that he comes home to you. The women that keep going into these relationships, having unprotected sex, conceiving children, knowing fully well that the man is not committed to anybody, and they go back for a second time. What exactly is the problem that you are having that it makes it easy for you to keep allowing this disrespect, this insult, this lack of total respect? I mean, it's humiliating. I cannot imagine. I have a 25-year-old daughter. God forgive me. I cannot imagine a man treating her that way. Whether she was first in the relationship, because we've known people that, oh, he had babies and then he eventually married you. That's when you met him. And then he now continues to keep having these baby mamas. I will take you out of that situation, because you say what you allow becomes a habit for people. You tell people the way to treat you. Toni Braxton's mother said to her children one day, because all of them, she has 5 female kids, telling them, oh, their husbands cheated. She got so fed up with having the discussion with them one day. She said, so what are you going to do about it? He cheated the first time, you said nothing. He cheated the second time, you said nothing. If you're not going to walk out of the marriage, let him cheat in peace.
Abi?
That's the one that made me laugh. Let him cheat in peace. Because you've already told him that the behavior is acceptable. So don't make noise unless you know you're going to make a definitive decision to either end that access to you, so that you're not the one receiving that behavior constantly, or just keep your mouth shut, please.
Lydia, can I just quickly butt in there? And the fact is that this is for somebody who has strength. For somebody, a lot of people are struggling. So the first person who says, hey, for example, oh, you're this, you're that, validates them, becomes the everything to them. And then at the end of the day, this really nice person that treats you like a queen also has his baggage he's coming with. But you are not in a balanced state of mind to see that. And then it happens the first time you say, oh, maybe it was a weakness or something. You give an excuse for it until you see that it is a pattern. Now, the two people already have issues that they need help for, and they need to identify those issues. Some of these women are already battered emotionally. So when they have people who they connect with, and then they have this baggage that they're coming with, it's difficult for them to separate the two. And they do not even have that emotional balance or strength to be able to, because that's the only, if they're receiving something from it. It's different when you are empowered, you're independent, and then you say, no, I am worth it. I have everything. I cannot take this, and you may walk away. But a lot of people don't have that strength. And then the men themselves are not coming to terms with the fact that they have a problem as well. Some of them grew up in homes where this was normal. They've never had people ask them, why are you doing this? Because it was a normal experience. And until they now come into a relationship where you are now questioning my behavior that I did not even, and then somebody is demanding that, oh, you need to be accountable to me, this and that. They're like, where is this coming from? Some people will be licking their feet for, not minding and all of that. So there's already a foundational problem that needs help on both parts.
So I was going to say that, let me come to you. I'll come back to you later.
Okay.
So when we're talking about this thing, is there any role of finance in this?
A lot.
Because you see, it's one thing for you to say you have strength to be able to walk out of a relationship. Is another thing for you to have the financial capacity. Given that a lot of us as women, we've been raised to believe that our
men are providers.
Yes, our men are supposed to be the ones to take care of us, take care of our bills, our finances, everything that has to do with. Because you see, I choose to believe that if these women are not, if they are financially independent, I will not subject myself to be a baby mama for anybody. We would have a relationship, we would have an affair, but we don't have to have kids. Do you understand? We would have an affair because we probably love each other's company.
What if it's the kids
let me even finish. Let me finish. Because I've seen a lot of young girls getting pregnant for older men, getting pregnant for men with 4 wives, getting pregnant for billionaires because they just believe that this is my retirement. So they use children as tools to be able to attract,
secure a future.
Secure a future. Because they believe that if a child is in the picture, at least they are sure of a lifelong connection. They're sure of their welfare and the child's welfare, which is common. With a lot of these people that we have mentioned, the Wizkid, the Davido, what's his name? Nick Cannon, Two-Face. Let's not even go, abroad, at least for Nick Cannon,
or Elon Musk.
If Elon Musk impregnates me, I'm keeping the baby. Even if he tries to have the baby with condom, if he wants to have sex with condom, I'm piercing holes in No, we're speaking sex education. I'm piercing holes. No, let's be real. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about Solomon and the many wives and concubines, the ratio of women to men is phenomenal. For every man, there's at least 15 women. Wait, you know how many you born now? You born men, but you know that there are more girl children than there are male children, right? So when it comes to the time of coupling up, there's some that will be left wanting with nobody to couple up. It's like having a dance at a prom night, and there are too many women sitting there waiting for someone to come and say, excuse me, dance, and nobody comes to say, excuse me, dance. If you finally say, excuse me, dance, even if you've danced with Banke, you shall saw me today. So you want to dance with me, I will get up to. I don't care whether you dance blues with Banke, but you've given me an opportunity to shine that somebody wants me, right? So aside from having babies I've seen women who are financially independent. There's no vulnerability where finances are concerned. All they want is, let me have someone to father a child for me. I have everything I need in this world. I have a successful career. I have properties. The only thing I don't have.
There are sperm donors everywhere.
People don't want sperm donors. Like you said, that the pride that comes with being attached to a particular name is different from just saying that. Iniedo went for surrogacy now and came back with a baby. Didn't they try to put her with stigma, saying that why would she settle for that? But she's a grown woman and she's thinking, I'm independent, I'm gone ahead in years, I want a child. And there are options. This sperm donor surrogacy, she took that route. They still complained. At the end of the day, let me tell you something about the level of maturity that I've reached now. I would sign up for such if I wanted companionship with the kind of companionship that I think I want in my future, I don't want to live with anybody. Do you understand? I really don't want children. I just want to have someone that people know that is attached to me. I may not even care about whether it is exclusive. And it may have nothing to do with self-esteem. It's just a case of I really don't care.
Your preference.
Do you understand? I just don't care. Like an Elon Musk. It's not self-esteem that is doing me. In fact, it's the esteem that made me want to born the child for Elon Musk. Now, you now have, I'm telling you, you now have the child by somebody. There's a kind of prestige. Imagine if Obama toasted me with Michelle.
Like
I will born child for Obama. I will want to prove to Michelle that, Shepe, this guy can stray. You know there are women that do have that mentality as well. But you think that you have him under your wings, you have this man can stray, and this is the proof. And the proof is forever. Whether or not he acknowledges the child, whether or not he pays fees or whatever, I will take care of it. But one day there's the inner circle of people that have told that is the father. And you know those bastards are the ones that look the most like their father.
True.
Or you haven't noticed. Let's not call them
Careful
bastards.
with the words.
Yes. Let's not call them bastards. But I know an uncle of mine that straight the first time had a child. The child that he had is the one that is his carbon copy. Outside the marriage. He went a second time with the same woman. Meanwhile, happy marriage. Happy marriage, successful home. But something was sweetening him there. And the woman there too didn't care because this guy was someone with status. So she was ready to give birth to 15. Do you understand? Because of status.
I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation, and that a lot of people capitalize on. Once there is a gap, they will step in, right? But you also find that some people stay because they really love
The guy and they just can't walk away.
They're just fools for love, like they say. And they can't just walk away. So, I mean, there are people, it would take a lot of probably therapy or just I'm serious.
I said like, now that she can't
like Reverend Kirsoya Kilome says spiritual
rehabilitation
to bring them back on track. Some people just have that genuine love.
If we break down a bit of Annie's story, right? We break down a bit of Annie's story. There's some level, you know, I'd said this when I watched that reality TV, when they had to go for the renewal, vow renewal and all of that. You could see a sense of identity struggle. She doesn't have an identity. The only identity that I feel she has is built around a two-faced DPI.
From the age of being a teenager.
So it is difficult for you to be able to what's it called? Then detach yourself from that, because that's all you've known. And so here is where I think if I want to find a solution to these issues, we need to start raising our girls to know who they are. You need to know who you are as a person outside of anything, outside of your name, outside of your beauty, because you can lose it. Outside of your shape,
you need to feel whole.
Yes, because shape
they
can
buy
disappear.
shape now.
Now they thank you, my darling.
You can design.
I'm just waiting for my millions to come.
You can design yourself
the shape that I want to buy. You know, but I'm saying that all of these things are not you. So we need to start building a sense of identity for the girl, that you are not these things. You are not your body, you're not your bum, you're not your breast, you're not anything. This is who you are, right? You've got this, you've got that, you know. So until we start to build those identity, that you are beginning to own yourself, right? You look at yourself every day and you are in love with yourself. It's going to be difficult for these things to change. Instead, it's getting worse. It's growing worse. I mean, I've seen young teenagers. I mean, there was a video that Bolaji shared on our group the other day, where she was talking about a girl that we met many years ago. I mean, this girl is barely 21 or 18 or something. But the girl has already gone to go get pregnant for someone. So they are, and this thing is no longer I wake up with the intention that I'm looking for somebody to go and get pregnant for. If that is not the intention, we've had cases of unprotected sex. There is a drug you take the next day. They call it the morning after.
Plan B.
That you just take it and nothing, you don't get pregnant.
It doesn't germinate.
So if there is no intention to that, you know, having a child, you know. So it is that intention I want to know. What exactly that is? I like what you said, because I know some people take it as a thing of pride and prestige. I have a Davido's child growing in my tummy. I have a, what's it called, and all of that. But you see, that also comes from the place of where Norma had talked about. Yes, you're looking for validation.
Validation.
You
don't feel whole.
Yes, you're looking for something. So imagine we start to take it a step back, where we raise confident girls, where we raise them to believe that, come, you can achieve anything in this world. It is the private jet you want to buy, do you want to build whatever, you can achieve anything.
Even
tell me what will happen tomorrow. These guys will be looking for girls to cheat with. They will not find any girl available to cheat with, because every girl has found her identity and she's focused on where she wants to go.
There's private jets access and everything that seems to be attractive. You spoke about Issey Miyake, and you said that he was able to create a name for himself and become a global being, recognized. You know, there are some people that have money that they are not satisfied until they have power. Forget money. I can buy private jet. Why would a Kylie Jenner stick with a Travis Scott, with everything that she has become herself, whole, no marriage, no nothing, rumors of cheating, even her sister too, because she wanted to have all her babies by the same man. Do you understand? It wasn't even about money anymore. Now she feels that if I'm going to have a child, I'm not even going to sleep with him. I'll have somebody else carry the baby, but I want my children to be by the same man. There are people that are whole. When you talk about, on my own, I'm at peace with who I am, my being, my who I am, what God has called me to be. But I want a child. And marriage or relationship has not worked out for me. But I also want a child with someone that has pedigree.
What is your definition of pedigree, Biko? Okay.
It could be anything. Everybody with their own definition of pedigree. The person way born for I want daddy shoki and every pedigree na pedigree.
Okay.
I think I still want to bring it back to what I had mentioned earlier. That is the background. A lot of people come from whack backgrounds. Let me put it that way. And it ties up with what you were saying, that we have to be intentional. A lot of people who have gone through these things don't even know how they are also raising their children unconsciously to begin to see that as the outlook to life. So even though they seemingly have everything, they have money, they have finances, because that is what they got used to seeing. When they are in their own right age to either go into a relationship, that's what they're also going to attract to themselves. So it's very, very important, the place of parenting in this case.
Back to parenting. Let's take comment. We run out of time. Austin from Delta says, the topic you're treating today is controversial. we know. For me, toxic relationship, either marriage or business, should be avoided because life lost cannot be replaced. Please permit me to comment on Keyamo defending Tinubu. I pity activists who change camps with reckless abandon. Thank God for social media recalling him swallowing his vomit. Go ahead, lady.
Some stay because of their children. They don't want another woman to come and maltreat their children. And then another statement, I think poor religious background is responsible. Some are not aware that there is a separation in the scriptures and that window exists for such situation. I think that would be for polygamy.
Separation.
Even separation and polygamy as well. Where you can justify
no infidelity, what he's saying now.
Infidelity and
So there's provision in the Bible
to separate
in
the place of
yes, but some don't know that they can walk away based on adultery. And then he says also the guilt of non-disclosure of past event lifestyle, showing up to pursue them. You know, for a woman, for instance, who feels she's lived a reckless lifestyle, eventually ends up with somebody. The person is treating her shabbily, but she's like, at least I'm somewhere.
But this is not the case in this situation, right?
So.
Well, go ahead, Mama.
Well, okay, let me read my comment first. It says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of what are you saying? I already know who it is. #Grace. Infidelity. Why would anyone stay in an unfaithful marriage? People will want to answer the husband's name, even if the marriage is not functioning and progressing. My dear beautiful sister Norma said, in a marriage, there's a foundational problem between both parties, which is true. I will forgive Sister Lady, okay, because she offended me. Oh, wow. Okay, she failed to read my birthday message to Sister Norma yesterday.
No,
We
but
ran
that's
out
out
of
of
time
time. Out of
yesterday.
time. The message was long.
Okay, we're reading your message now. Sister Norma,
Forgive
happy
me,
birthday.
oh.
And she's the one reading it. Can you imagine? Happy belated, birthday to you. More blessings, long life, sound health in Jesus' name. Thank you, Daniel.
You have another message.
May I add?
Do I have another message?
Yes, you do.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, happy birthday, Norma, again. Interesting topic. Why do people stay in unfaithful marriage? I've interacted with some women that needed help in such area, but cannot leave such marriages because they are not empowered financially. That's what we mentioned. If they leave, how would they cope? Most times, culture, religion expect people to stay, not minding the person's mental state of mind. When children are involved, most find it difficult to move on as well. Society most times treats divorced persons, women in this case, I think, unfairly, and they're seen to be irresponsible without knowing what they've been through. Thank you, BC, for your comment.
Absolutely.
So if I wanted to just quickly touch on that financial issue, a lot of people, like you had said, are tied, so they don't have what they're doing, and at the end of the day, they don't want to leave. But then again, it's also a thing of the mind, because even when you do not have, you also have skills, you have innate resources that you can begin to tap into. There are people who just having that courage to walk away or get help and then begin to educate themselves or empower themselves. Now they start taking ownership and responsibility for the outcomes in life. So there's really nothing that can happen if you make up your mind.
I wanted to piggyback on the lack of finances. I left a marriage without a single kobo, with 2 children. It has to do with mental strength. You remember I said it to you. You have to know what you're worth and what you want for yourself. And at the end of the day, I tell people that by the time it's time to lay you in a coffin, it's only you. So even the children don't matter, because they're not going to throw the children in the coffin with you. What do you want for your life, and what does peace look like to you? I walked away without a kobo, and when I say without a kobo, I mean without a kobo. But I had a plan.
And you walked away from wealth.
From wealth, or billionaire status of wealth. David, I will come.
I was going to say that I like that every time this conversation comes up, people always say that it is because of the children you're staying in a marriage. But I want you to remember what we talked about yesterday about programming a child silently. When you stay in a toxic relationship, what you have successfully done is to teach the child that it is okay to be in a toxic relationship. So by all means, walk away from unhealthy relationship for the sake of those children that people are telling you, society is telling you to stay there for. You need to walk away from those relationships, because guess what? You're building a better generation when you do. Thank you so much, ladies. We had a fantastic conversation. All right, so tomorrow is supposed to be our ladies' night out. We're not going to know if we're going to talk again. We can do to be continued. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Cheating and lying aren't struggles. There are reasons for breakup. I think it's a very short and simple quote. We'll see you guys live at 8 p.m. tomorrow to bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Thank you.